you recently put out an 11-point plan to rescue America, two of the big points of which are, quote, all Americans should pay some income tax to have skin in the game, even if a small amount. Currently, over half of Americans pay no income tax. It also says all federal legislation sunsets in 5 years. If a law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it again. So that would raise taxes on half of Americans and potentially sunset programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Why would you propose something like that in an election year?
Sure. Well, John, that's, of course, the Democrat talking points. It's a
No, it's in the plan. It's in the plan.
But here's the thing about reality for a second. First of all, let's talk about Medicare.
But Senator, hang on.
John.
So it's not a Democratic talking point. It's in the plan.
Yeah, and the Grim Reaper there didn't have a good answer for that. That was a tough question coming from a Fox. It was John Roberts? His name's John Roberts, I think. Anyway, John Roberts, probably because the Republican establishment apparently not big fans of Rick Scott's tax plan there, as we'll get into. But the idea of launching into the election season as the right tries to brand itself as populist, literally raising taxes on the poorest people in America, including millions and millions and millions of poor conservatives, is an interesting idea. Getting rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all these programs that, look, Rick Scott is not alone as a Republican in hating these and wanting to destroy them, but most of them are savvy enough to know that that's not gonna be popular with their base. But Rick Scott, he's beyond all this. He doesn't care that an estimate from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy says that Scott's plan would increase taxes by more than $1,000 on average for the poorest 40% of Americans. Poorest 40% of Americans, I've always thought, have way too much of a financial buffer between them and economic catastrophe. Let's cut that down by $1,000. By the way, how it would affect Republican strongholds. States where more than 40% of residents would face tax increases are Mississippi, West Virginia, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Georgia, New Mexico, South Carolina, and Florida, where he's a senator. So at least admittedly, he's subjecting his own constituents to it. Francesca, what do you think?
I mean, cue the lady in Starbucks who went off on him that day when he had the gall to show his face, and she just screamed at him and was like, "You ruined this state." And one of the things is, that she was talking about, she's from Florida, and everyone was on board that was in that Starbucks was like that Rick Scott has done things when he was governor of Florida, like refusing to expand Medicaid, which again is covered by 90% by the federal government under Obamacare. But because they can't go for anything that a Democrat proposed, and especially not Obama, Republicans still hold out on the poorest and most vulnerable people in their states. It's insane. It is punishment. And so now to turn around and be like, these people who I have denied healthcare to, affordable healthcare or free healthcare to for years, I'm gonna charge them even more because they're not paying enough in taxes, or they're not paying anything in taxes. It's like, it blows my mind. I mean, and to think like $1,000 might not seem like a lot, but again, I keep on coming back to the $400 unforeseen expense. And if your taxes go up a 1 year to the next by $1,000, well, that's food coming off your table straight up.
Yeah, exactly. They always cite the $400 that a significant percentage couldn't, like a catastrophe. Republican governance is 2.5 catastrophes a year, just in this, forget everything else. And then to hide behind, well, those are just Democrat talking points. Dude, you wrote the plan. And bear in mind, it's not just that if you dig into the bill on page 700, you discover these horrible things going on. We covered, was it 1 month ago, 2 months ago, his little write-up of the top 20 points about it. He was enthusiastic about all this. You can't then say that this is a plot that Rachel Maddow and John Oliver cooked up to kill your plan. You were advertising it, buddy. But anyway, he is going to be asked some follow-up questions about the sunsetting part. Let's take a look at that.
You said not everyone agrees with it, and one of the people that doesn't agree with it is Mitch McConnell. Here's what he said.
Let me tell you what would not be a part of our agenda. We will not have as part of our agenda a bill that raises taxes on half of the American people and sunsets Social Security and Medicare within 5 years. That will not be part of a Republican Senate majority agenda.
Yeah, a few days after he said that, you penned a Wall Street Journal op-ed about your plan titled, "Why I'm Defying Beltway Cowardice." Are you calling Mitch McConnell a coward?
God.
I guess he is. And look, for the right-wing base, he's supposed to attack Mitch McConnell. They don't like Mitch McConnell. But in this case, the old crow has a point. This would be like, imagine if more Republicans signed on to this plan. That's the Democratic strategy right there. They want to raise your taxes by $1,000. They want to raise your taxes by $1,000. They want to raise it by $1,000. Oh, and by the way, your sweet old grandma, yeah, she's gonna be starving because she's not gonna have Social Security. She's not gonna have Medicare. All those great programs that have stopped us from having an epidemic of senior citizens just needlessly passing away every winter. Yeah, he wants to get rid of those. Honestly, Rick Scott, like, dude, go off. Just do your thing. I hope you get a lot of support.
Go for it. I love, you're so right. Old crow, old turtle is correct. I mean, he understands. He might be evil, but he understands what things are politically unpopular, right? Just like, that's why he went along with Trumpism essentially. I mean, Trump was a perfect Trojan horse for him and has been, because it's popular. And then when he feels like he has to be like, well, I'm not going to overthrow an election, whatever. And but then, this, he's like, no, you're insane. If you think that you can get away with taking away Social Security and Medicare, you're crazy. These are also all things that were called socialist when they were floated by Democrats, right? And look where we are now. These are wildly popular, right? Yeah. Now here's the problem, John. We've got our Democrats. We've got the Democrats we've got. So my guess is they could get away with something like this, and Democrats wouldn't even pick up that mantle of, hey, look who actually raised your taxes. All we wanted to do was raise taxes on corporations, millionaires and billionaires, and make our tax structure fair. But like, these guys, they don't even know what they're doing. They don't have strategy.
Yeah, well, here's what they would do. They do the same thing that they're doing as we careen towards Roe v. Wade being overturned. Like, that's bad, but it's something to run against after they've nuked it.
I'm so mad. I don't.
Great, Democrats.
John, don't get me. Let's talk about the slap again. You're getting me mad.
Exactly. No. Let's talk about the slap that Biden wants to give to the millionaires and the billionaires, supposedly. So this is his plan, by the way. He wants to unveil a new minimum tax on billionaires in his budget. Okay, you have my curiosity. The White House will unveil a new minimum tax as part of its 2023 budget today, proposing a tax on the richest 700 Americans for the first time, according to 5 people with knowledge on the matter and an administration document obtained by the Washington Post. The billionaire minimum income tax plan under President Biden would establish a 20% minimum tax rate on all American households worth more than $100 million. That is such a high threshold. The majority of new revenue raised by the tax would come from billionaires, obviously. White House officials estimate the tax would raise roughly $360 billion in new revenue over the next 10 years if enacted. The proposal was developed by Biden aides at the OMB, the Treasury Department, and the White House National Economic Council. And that is, look, that is not a wealth tax. This is not the stuff we've been talking about over the past few years. It's an income tax. And again, the con that they've gotten away with for a very long time is when you are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, your income isn't the thing that you're making most money off of. That's not actually how it works, but it would be something. The issue is, I think, and Francesca, feel free to disagree, while they have 5 people familiar with that matter, the tax, I have some people who are familiar with the composition of the Senate.
Yeah.
And of Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, who I've checked, let me Google it, are still alive and drawing breath. So not exactly sure what the chances are for this thing, but what do you think?
Isn't it amazing? They're just sort of the like 2 harbingers of death. Like one doesn't want to raise taxes on anybody. One doesn't want any more social safety net. And like they've just got, it's like a Chinese finger trap situation here. And that's what it is. And it's brilliant. And
are we the trap or are we a finger? I think they're the fingers and we're the trap.
I think, don't think about it too hard. You know what I'm saying?
They've been fingering us for too long.
They've definitely been figuring us for too long, metaphorically. I will say I am heartened that there is a movement in this direction. I do not think 20% is enough. I'm sorry. And certainly there needs to be definition of what revenue is, as you just pointed out. Most millionaires and billionaires are making money on their assets. So revenue, it feels more like what is your gain, and the gains of like their stock prices are never reported, or at least they don't have to pay taxes on them until they sell those stocks. But I do think in terms of OMB and in terms of the Treasury Department, like it signifies a shift. There may be a discussion going down. I like that discussion. I know there are some former hedge fund people also littered throughout this administration, some former Goldman Sachs folks up in there. But I also know there are people who know what they're actually talking about, and they actually want to make a more fair tax structure. And this is at a time, I just want to mention this, in 2 years, the number of billionaires in this country has increased, and their wealth. So we've got now 704 billionaires in this country, and their total wealth increased by 57% to 1.7 trillion dollars. So now their total wealth is reached 4.6 trillion. This is from Americans for Tax Fairness. So they just came out with this earlier in March. Like so much. This is at a time, who has more money right now? Who has like more breathing room right now? No, hardly anybody. And they're like, oh, you're essential and this and that. Oh, we've got to cut costs. Oh, the supply chain. BT dubs, we're making a killing while you're literally dying.
Exactly, yeah, doing better. Their wealth is up, corporations, their profits are up. So weird how we still end up with higher prices and they're getting more and more money.
Yeah, huh?
But I'm sure Biden is committed to this. Look, I like that the sorts of promises they'll run on but not really mean are increasingly progressive false promises. That's something, I guess. We'll see how it goes. I hear Joe Manchin wants like $500 billion to deal with the climate. So, good stuff coming in the spring.
Clean coal.
Anyway, clean coal, we're gonna get it, we're gonna clean it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.